can't hear you. Yep. Okay, go ahead.
Sweet. Yeah, hi everyone. This is an opportunity to spiritually, we don't, exactly, in Silicon Valley. Definitely very, very interesting. So before I get into share with you my inspiration doing this venture. You know, when I was in my second year, it was super stressful. That comes with being a CMU, having a social life, and I was kind of take a break to take care. And hello?
I'll put you on mute. Okay? Yeah, everything. So.
Okay. Anyway, so I was saying that I need to take a break to mental health, meditation. Young age as a tool had to mindfulness and performance, and particularly a UST tennis player. I've been 10 plus years in the context of applying it. I was curious to explore when I took this break, learn meditation from, and I felt into meditation to better understand kind of the spiritual concept, and I decided to in India, which grew. I experienced some meditative states, so the power of the mind, and I really not my enemy, but rather used to improve my life. Back to India, I was entrenched in culture at CMU to find a way to bring meditation to the mind. I realized that I wanted to access ashrams and monasteries, and that led me to was the best vehicle experiences, and hence called Mindscape. Essentially, the thesis to drive peak performance brain state meditation, and the pain point that is that proven ways to train up until this point of scalable object to perform consistently, and this is sort of our cutting edge technology, and that we're really what we're branding it in, and there are logical components that come. The first being which measures your and translates that into, and we use machine learning to measure your progress or what's your baseline mental state, drive to develop peak and mental states. We have to enable you to improve their brain activity, intellectual stimuli in and finally which brings all these other to immersive environments, the voice guidance of propel peak mental performance. What I thought was very interesting, the conversations I've had with BD's AI team is that is kind of the motivation of monks to how brain would behave in meditators. And obviously they're out there. It has been neurofeedback for creating, such as mood changes and sports performance improvement. Machine learning has already been proved by mental degree of accuracy as well as in categories and valence. And I thought it would be very interesting to collaborate on experiment with the monk in Nepal in order to that would serve a specific product that we're building. Since monks have kind of access to this brain waves, that would be very useful for algorithms that drive peak performance. We're a startup, and we're kind of focusing on a market end, and our initial and horse training market alone is with the global $1.3 trillion, and plan to partner with across every single event professional teams. The long-term goal of this is numerous the wellness market, and we eventually plan the medical. So in the first 2 years, roughly $100,000 per professional team, numbers that competitors plan to hit about 8 college teams and 2 professional from 2019 to 20 will enable us to get roughly revenue, and then around 4 in 2020 to kind of better understand in the space. Other companies in non-invasive data-driven and objective data-driven players in the space that are both and objectively data-driven. I think Jay, which definitely has the invasive component a little bit in terms of scaling it for all the very hard scientific data, turn off some users and essentially shock achieving a certain brain state. There are other non-invasive solutions and I'm sure basic calm, and they're not biological data or analytics. Kind of where we come in as using objective and pairing that invasive methods to achieve our first domain experts, virtual reality and sound development and business strategy, technical advice, working with at Stanford, open-eyed meditation and the combination domain expertise we bring to the of delivering our product. And our funding needs right now, we see funding, 160K. K would go through a viable product in version 1, and about $10,000 and about $70,000 for company development. And yeah, that is possible. That within the time.
Thank you, Roche. This was another perspective, innovation and about from this domain. Bay Area, Silicon Valley, and we would love to, and you see the power supporting Silicon Valley, and that's incredibly powerful. Roshan?
Yeah, really, really wonderful to speak at this event. Thank you, guys.
Okay, we're down to the last, Kumar? Oh, Kumar, they will, Roshan, and if we could have it to meditator, monks who have meditation for a long time, different genres of meditation, somehow categorize that in an open data. Many people hear new businesses. More importantly, that's globally, and also regionals. So, if we can brand this way, where Bhutan is saying, right, if you think of happiness, you'll think about Bhutan, brand ourselves to transformative, think about Nepal. Ingredients, we have everything we need. So Dan he's in the area, background in physics. He's going to talk about EEG data, how accumulated and gathered here, with especially and AI, that blockchain technology, which is, bad public currency in Nepal. Technology is something that is of a lot of different applications. And cryptocurrency is hopefully Kumar and blockchain could be so important.
Yeah, hey Vijay. Am I on?
Yeah, we kept them here for a long time.
Well, thanks everyone for and very to be able to talk. We heard a lot of interest work with me and with. I'm going to talk a little data side of things. We at beginning and in the future, things from the AI side and this presentation. Let me share my. Okay, we're going to talk about applying AI data. So pretty aware of just artificial intelligence recently with all sorts of problems, diagnosing skin conditions better than Google's Go, chess, and Schumann, which has just become reliable, if not amazing. And it really, but data, and lacking a little bit. So I'm going to talk their end challenges and. So one electrode, essentially when from EEG data, the wave, which is low frequency data, and gamma, you can pull electrode, but then over artifacts, an artifact from you're looking around, artifact from the heart. Put all that together, you get this is pulled out from all of these signals are over the voltage. This is a set of electrodes from measurement. They're close to the eyes, so by blinking, you'd be able to remove. These are all sorts of other artifacts of data that isn't collected, that aren't applied well. Jay, earlier, scientists and researchers, yeah. The quality of the collected coordinate, how well did they access to the scalp and so forth. Earlier, simply the quantitative factor, a lot of the work with 50 or a lot of EEG research, the millions that are needed quality application. So EEG, the amount of 5 different frequencies, alpha, beta, and gamma. That's sort of like saying and red, green, blue at each of 4 different points with just that very well. So that's for how having enough data to measure a state using EEG data.
Dan, can you XR? Don't know.
Artifacts. That's plot you can see. An artifact is something the data essentially. Maybe here if it blinks or moves, you get this stuff. Or if a jaw, you might you see that here in the reel with this big